Not to be impatient or anything, but what the fuck happened to Sanji? Like, we know almost exactly nothing. I mean, we know something, but it's still, it's like, what the hell? Like, what happened? Oda's like, I'm gonna throw you a clue about what happened, but I'm not gonna reveal the entire animal, pun intended, because I like having you by the balls. I love the cover page this week. These little kids training Santoryu with patches over their eyes, following Zoro's footsteps. I mean, the Straw Hat Pirates are gonna have a bunch of fan clubs to deal with once they get back home. This is just one example, I hope. We open up with a party, oddly enough, and then the moment I saw that, I was like, yeah, my mind just realized whatever happened to Sanji couldn't have been that serious, otherwise the Straw Hats wouldn't be partying, like, straight up. Everybody seems to be having a good time, with the exception of Zoro. Kin'emon and Kanjuro actually decide to stop climbing up the elephant's leg for the day. So I guess the cat did melt, because they're at the bottom now, like near where the fucking Sunny is. And at first, when they were removed from the main storyline, I thought, like, this is kind of suspicious. Like, they just fell down because a monkey attacked them on some bullshit. But now I realize it has more to do with the fact that if they had been part of the main storyline, they would have been able to reveal more information about Raizo, which we find out in this chapter is incredibly important. So I think that's why Oda decided to remove them, so that the Straw Hats could find out about Raizo the way that they did right now. Luffy-san! We don't get Sanji, but we do get Brooke. Brooke! He's back, and he's been having a hard time because, like, these dog minks have been chewing on him, because he's made out of bones. And he actually tells the crew, he's like, hey, you really want to be sensitive about mentioning the words samurai and Wano. And now, like, after this chapter, it's obvious to me that the next thing after Zou is going to be Wano. No doubt about it. According to Brooke, Momonosuke is also okay, at least physically he is. And so the only two characters that we have questions about in terms of what the hell is going on with them are Caesar and Sanji. News update for those of you who care enough. Frankie has changed his hairstyle. Anyway, Nami asks Luffy and Zoro, what are we going to do about Sanji? And both of them were like, I think we should let him handle that, whatever it is. Zoro says Sanji left a note, but we don't get to see the note. We have no idea what he wrote. And then Luffy's like, yeah, it's not like he's been captured or anything. But here's the thing, just because he hasn't been captured doesn't mean it's not serious. I think it's very serious. Like, Nami was crying last chapter. Chopper is crying in this chapter. Brooke tells Luffy, I'm sorry about what happened to Sanji. I thought I could never face you again. Another thing is, like, what if the note that he wrote is just a bunch of bullshit? Like, what if it says part of the truth, but not the entire truth because he doesn't want the crew to get worried over him? We know how Sanji is. He's too much of a gentleman. So that kind of goes along with his character of not worrying people. We just don't know. There's a serious lack of information here. To the point where, like, even Frankie tells Nami, you need to slow down, girl. You need to just take us back to the beginning of the story. We need a flashback. Can you please give us a flashback, Nami? Another question I have is, how did Sanji leave Zou? I mean, the Sunny is parked outside. So unless he snuck into a ship and sailed away on that, like, how did he leave the island? I'm kind of leaning with the idea that as soon as the new bounty posters came up, Sanji saw his, and because he knows why he's wanted alive, because he knows the reason, he decided to volunteer and just turn himself in, or to try and do something about that by himself. Robin clarifies, she says that the amount of time that has passed ever since the crew separated in Dressrosa has been 11 days. And Sanji and the rest, they got to Zou in 1 day. So they actually spent a considerable amount of time in Zou, just in Zou. What we don't know is, okay, the order of events is this. First, Beppo shows up, Law's crew shows up, because remember, like, Law had told them, like, just go to Zou. That's the first thing that happens. The thing that happens after that is the invasion of Zou by Jack. And then after that, Sanji and the rest come in. That's why the Mink people are all bandaged up, because Chopper came in after the Jack invasion to heal them up. It's also why the Minks are super friendly to the Straw Hats, because they were helped by them after Jack fucked them up. We go into flashback and we see that Capone is actually, he was aboard Big Mom's ship. He's a subordinate now, he's allied himself with Big Mom. Which isn't that big of a surprise, because remember, according to law, the way that you survive in the New World is either you ally yourself with a Yonko or you try and take one down. Now, if I remember correctly, the last time we saw Capone was when we got to see the rest of the 11 Supernova, and he actually did say, we have to go get Caesar, boys. And he was aboard a ship. So he's aboard one of Big Mom's ships. I just don't know if that happened before this. Like if he meant, let's go get Caesar, who is in Dressrosa, or did he mean we still gotta go chase after these guys that have Caesar? What happens during the attack is the following. Big Mom's ship fires some cannonballs at the Sunny. Alright, then Brooke freezes the cannonballs. Chopper uses Caesar as a type of blanket to collect all the frozen cannonballs, and then he throws the cannonballs along with Caesar to Sanji, and then Sanji uses Diablo Jumba, and he starts kicking the cannonballs without even considering that Caesar's around. So he kicks them back while lighting them on fire, and that's the counterattack. And then Nami uses her weather tempo stick to create like a rain cloud, create some mist. And that's how they escape, essentially. And I have to say that this is kind of like a disappointment, because it's like, these guys, these dudes on Big Mom's ship, like, you are representing a Yonko. So the fact that Sanji and co were able to escape this easily, it's like what the fuck, Capone? Like, it's like they weren't even trying to get them. They were like, they're gone. You know, shit. Capone is a human freaking fortress. Alright? The amount of military power that he can store in his body, especially post-time skip, should be enough to take down a ship the size of the Sunny. I just want to see more from the supernovas, honestly. Because every time I see one, I get hyped. But it's like, with the exception of Law, you know, Luffy and Zoro, it feels like all the other ones have just gone into the New World to like get like trolled. Anyway, Nami is giving out the flashback, and then all of a sudden, like this fucking sloth comes in out of nowhere and interrupts the story, so we don't get to find out what happens to Sanji. But then the sloth says, hey everyone, or hey people, the prince just woke up. And I'm like, the prince? Do you mean Sanji? I'm like, no, Sanji's gone. And we don't know why. Thank you, Mink Sloth, for interrupting the story. You should be put to death now. Anyway, I forgot to mention this, but there, if you look closely, throughout this chapter, there is like a mink hamster that is all over Robin. Like, you can tell, like, this hamster is not hiding his sexual desires at all. They say they have two rulers, one for dawn and one for dusk. So we're gonna meet them. We don't know anything about them. We'll find out next week, I think. I hope. Anyway, Law reunites with his crew, and I love the moment because Beppo just straight up jumps on him. Like, he hugs him, but he also jumps on him. And you see the rest of this crew just being really happy to see Law. They have some catching up to do. Oh, and the whole thing about Wanda mentioning, like, your friend's corpse, she was just referring to Brooke. And a lot of you kind of, like, put two and two together, and you came to that conclusion way before this. So, yeah, it still doesn't make a lot of sense, because, like, the first time she said it, it's like she was talking in plural, like, saying more than one friend's corpse. So, to me, it's like, what the fuck? Like, the translation may have something to do with this. It's shitty as hell. Zo was invaded, and the invasion was so destructive that even Sunisha, the elephant, was complaining. It was going like, what the fuck is going on back there? I assume a lot of the complaining from the elephant came from feeling those massive mammoth stomps that we saw. Like, we saw a footprint of it, right, in one of the previous chapters from Jack. Now, we assume that the mammoth is Jack. To me, it makes perfect sense. In fact, I'm willing to theorize further. So the reason why I think it has to be Jack is because when we saw Jack saying that he was going to get Doflamingo back, we saw the front of his ship, and the front of his ship did have like a mammoth on it. You know, at least the head of a mammoth. But another thing that I kind of like made the connection is that, so Jack is working under Kaido. Jack is a prehistoric Zoan type devil fruit. Who else works under Kaido? Drake, right? And Drake is also a prehistoric type devil fruit. So I'm wondering if, like, the top tier dudes that work under Kaido all have some type of prehistoric type devil fruit. Like a saber-toothed tiger, maybe? Can you imagine if, like, Kaido had, like, some fucking velociraptors working under him, like... So like I said, I definitely think that Wano is coming up next immediately after Zo. It almost feels like Oda has been, like, having us pick up pieces along the New World. We picked up Kin'emon in Punk Hazard. In Dressrosa, we got Kanjuro, and it looks like in Zo we're going to pick up Raizo. The problem with that is that I'm not really sure how it's going to tie into Sanji's storyline. And when it comes to Law, I do remember back in Punk Hazard, Law actually tells Luffy, we will remain allies. We will be allies until we defeat and bring down Kaido together. After that, we can go our separate ways. So however long that takes, I think that's how long Law will remain in the main storyline. Because I do think that he is really grateful towards Luffy. He's incredibly thankful for helping him like defeat Doflamingo. So I think that he's going to reciprocate. He's going to tell Luffy, you know what, you helped me with my thing. I'll help you do whatever it is you need to do after this. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave your comments down below. What do you think happened to Sanji? Like the review if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't for more One Piece stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Catch you guys later. Bye.